Welcome back, everyone. If you're new to this channel, let me just give you a brief overview of what Angular app this is and what I'm talking about. And then we'll start the main topic of the video, which is doing authentication with Firebase and real-time database. Now, we have been building this Angular application actually live on this YouTube channel. So if you want to know how these things are done, creating sign-up form, login form, lazy loaded modules, so it is highly efficient, and we have the home page which is fetching the cryptocurrencies, the top 10 cryptocurrencies, by the way, with a real-time API. And the red color depicts that in the last 24 hours, the price has gone down. The green means it has gone up. So this is the overall website. Still, it is very raw. We will be adding a lot of features in the meantime, and we'll do all of that live on YouTube. So if you're interested, just go ahead and subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you in the future live streams as well. But for now, what I want to say is we have already set up a real-time database. So we have created a login and sign up form, and we were saving things on this database, which saves users somewhat like this. This looks like a JSON format, which is how real-time database from Firebase works. And as you can see, it's not really the right way to store usernames and passwords, basically account authentication details. It's not really good. We are saving passwords in string formats. And the last couple of videos for Firebase were just to show you how you can insert things, fetch things, delete things, update things from this database. But today we'll talk about something much more important, much more useful, which is authentication. Now, almost every application in the world needs some kind of authentication, and Firebase comes with a lot of features. And we will cover all of them on this YouTube channel in the future. But today we will be focusing on email and password kind of authentication. In the future, we can even authenticate by Gmail, GitHub, Facebook, Twitter, etc. It offers a lot of features, and we can even authenticate with email links and as well as phone number SMS sending. But again, today we'll focus on email and password, which is the most basic kind, which is present in almost every website. So let's just go ahead and start doing that. Now, the number one thing we need to do is for setting up the whole flow of creating and saving users, first of all, we need an application API key. Now, for that, if you're using Firebase, which I hope you are, you can go to settings of your application, go to project settings, and here, once you set up the API key, you will see the API key for your project over here. Now, my project is actually this one, and I'm not going to show you my API key because that is something you should never share with anyone. So I'm not going to show you that, but let's just assume it's a string, and let me open my code and start inserting that. Now, in Angular application, the right place to store your strings or API keys or any kind of those secure parameter emails or keys are basically to be stored in environment files. Now, let's just say we have Firebase API key, and let's just say this is my key. Now, as I said, I'm going to copy it. I'm going to use a real key, but I'm not really going to show you over there what's happening. So let me just hide my screen for a second there and copy my real API key in the next few seconds. So I'm going to go to settings, project settings. I'm going to copy my API key, go to my environment settings, and there you go. I have finally copied my API key. So let's go back and share the screen again. So again, I really hope you don't share API key with anyone. That's why in this tutorial, I'm not really sharing it with anyone. But now you know how and where you can store the API key. Okay, there you go. So first thing is we need to go to authentication. And I have set up sign-in method with email and password. I've only enabled this one as of now. As I said, there are so many more ways we can use authentication with Firebase, but we are just going to focus on the most basic one today. Now, we are using Firebase REST API to do any kind of insertion, deletion in the database, and we'll be using the same even for authentication. So the first thing is we need to learn how to sign up with email and password. So this is the API key for that. So let's just go ahead, copy this API key, go in our code base. This is the sign up form page. So instead of using the real-time database over here, this time I'm going to insert the API key. And then finally, I'm going to insert my environment variable here. So we can use this and say environment.firebase API key. And that's it. Once we are done with that and we are passing the sign up form value, which has an email and a password, it should be good to go. And they also always recommend to send this return secure token to be true so that our application is more secure and we get the real all the refresh token and the let's see what we get. We get ID token, email, refresh token expires in a local ID. So it gives us a lot of features that we'll explore later on. But let's just pass the correct parameters to this API call. So I'm going to use the spread operator. I'm going to just add the return secure token true to my API call, and I hope this would do the trick. Let me also zoom in a little bit for you. I think it would be better for you to see on the screen. So now that we have saved it, let's go back, go to the join button, and see how our network tab behaves when we send the API call. So let me make it a little bigger. So let's see. I can write my name. Let's insert p@b.com. Super secure password 123456. And let's see if I can sign up. So once I sign up, it gives me an error and says email exists. Now, why is that? Now, if I go back to my authentication, you will see that I've already created an email with this format. So it says that email exists. So in this case, I should probably show the user a proper message saying that, sorry, this email already exists. Please try a different one. And we will do all of that. But let's just try to insert a user for now, and then we'll improve the user experience. So now once we sign up, now that I've updated my email, let's see what response do we get. We didn't get an error this time, which is a plus. This was the API call, and we get all the keys or the object that is for a successful authentication. So yay, we have finally inserted a user. Let's just go ahead and check if our database has the new user or not. Now, if I refresh this, there you go. We have a new email, p1@b.com. Now, I'll just delete all of these so that we have a fresh start, but we have officially created our first user for our application. So kudos to all of us. Now, for better UI experience, we can use Snack Bar, which is Angular material, which we are already using in this application. So again, if you're interested to know how we are doing all of that, go ahead and just check out our tutorials, previous tutorials where we inserted Angular material and all of that. I don't want to go over everything again, but basically Snack Bar is something like this. When we click on it, it will show like a pop-up over here, as you can see. For us, we probably want to show something like account successfully created. And if something is unsuccessful, we want to say account creation failed with a proper error message. That would be really nice to have. So let's just go ahead and do that. And good morning to you as well. Okay, going back to the application, let's see what we have to do. First of all, we need to import the Snack Bar module. That's very important. So let's see which module we need to import for that. It is the Smart Snack Bar module, obviously. So let's just go ahead, copy that in our imports, and I can paste it here. Now we have officially included the Mac Snack Bar module, which will help us with those beautiful pop-ups. And now we can start using it and start adding it to our own application, right? So that's just awesome. So what I want to do is, first of all, only if we are successful. So I don't want to navigate to the login screen anymore. I will probably just navigate to the home page, because the way real-time database works is if you are if you successfully create an account, it will not just say, hey, your account creation is successful. It will actually log you in. So we want to respect that behavior. And for the Snack Bar, we will first of all import the Snack Bar here. So let's say that Snack Bar. Let's copy that over here as well. This is good. And here we'll say this dot mat snack bar dot open. Let's just show a message like account created. Then the second one is basically a button that comes at the end of Snack Bar. So let's just use OK. You can use a better one if you want. And obviously, all these things are customizable. I want it to be on the top of the screen. So vertical position is going to be top. Horizontal position is going to be, let's say, center. And what else do we have? I also want to add a class. And let's just do it without a class first, and then I'll show you what happens when you add a class. Let's go here, and hopefully this is refreshed. So now if I create a new account, p@b.com, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let me clear my network tab. If I click on sign up, it says account created, which is perfect, right? This is what we wanted. And if you click on OK, it goes away. Also, it has a default timeout, so I think it goes away in a few seconds anyways. But it's also nice to have a button so that users can get rid of this whenever they want. Now, I want to add a panel class, which will add some, because this is a successful message. So I want the background to be a green background. So let's just add the Bootstrap class. Again, we have added Bootstrap as well in this application. I would love if you want to learn that and check out our older videos, but let's focus on Firebase at the moment. Now it should display in a green snack bar. So let's see if it does that. Again, let me say p@b1.com, because otherwise it will give us an error. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. If you click on sign up, there you go. Account created with a green background. It looks perfect to me. Now, the next thing is, what if the sign up fails? Because yes, it can fail. For example, we just saw in the beginning of this video that the sign up failed because the username used was the username entered was already inside our database. So we can't really have to duplicate emails. So what happens when those error comes in? Now, the best place to learn more about it is obviously reading the documentation, but these are the common error codes that can exist. Either email already exists, or operation is not allowed for this project, or just too many attempts, try again later. So I think the most common one we're going to see is email exists. So how can we handle that? So let's go back to our code and say, well, in case of error, we want to do some kind of error handling. So first of all, we'll have an error message. Now, in your application, you can obviously make it much better than what I'm going to do here, but error.error.error.message. And I'm just going to copy this. And instead of saying background success, I'm going to use background danger, which is red, saying that something went wrong. And instead of saying account created, I'll say sign up failed, something like that, right? And I can actually add it here. And you'll soon see what I'm doing. Sign up failed. And let's add the message that will be returned by Firebase in this case, and just add that error message over here. Now, the reason I use this weird format error.error.error.message is you're soon going to see when the error comes in. This is how real-time API works. Firebase real-time activation works. I can't just say it, all right. Okay, so Pranav, p@b.com, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let me clear the network tab. Now, if I click on the sign up button, you are going to see that sign up failed and the error is email exists. So that means my error message creation is perfect. Now, obviously, we can improve this. We can say if the error message is email exists, display a better message like, sorry, this email already exists. Please try a different one. But let's just try the lazy approach right now, which says email exists. Click on OK, it goes away. Now, it is an object called error. Inside that we have error. Inside that we have message. So if we see that on the console as well, it has 3 layers. Actually, if I print it out, you will notice that. So let me just print error.error, console.log. And let's say error.error. Let's see what it prints out. So if I print So let's see what is printed on a console. So we are already inside error.error, and then it says error again, and then message. So that's why it has so many layers of this object that we have to use error.error.error.message in this case. And it is weird, but I hope it's not confusing you, because it should be straightforward. It's just how the object is present in our return of the API. So this is the completion of the sign up page. Now, the next important thing we have to cover is the login page. So first of all, I think we can copy a lot of this code because it's going to be very relevant. So let's just go here and copy everything from here to here. Obviously, we'll change a few things on our way. So the first thing is that we get a login form value. So let's start using that. We can remove all of this. We don't need this anymore. And instead of sign up form value, we'll say login form value. So that's the first change. As I said, we need to do. It's fine. We don't need to reset anything. We are not even printing the response. We need to import the match snack bar module. That is important. Let's just also improve this import while we are at it. Where is my constructor? Here it is. So mat snack bar. Let's bring that over to the word of login component. And also let's bring in the router, because once we are successfully logged in, I want to go back to the home page of this application because it makes sense, right? So let's do that as well. Let's format our file. Now we have the router. We have, instead of account created, obviously we'll say something like successfully logged in or something on those lines, right? So let's just start doing that as well. What message do we want to display? Successfully logged in or login successful? And in case of failure, let's say login failed. I think that's very straightforward. You can improve the messages on your side if you want. And what's the correct API we want to go to? That's also very important to see. So over here, let's go to the documentation and check what's the sign in with email and password API we need to go to. Copy this and voila, there you have sign in with password. This is looking very good. We have the login form sent. We have the return secured token to be true. Login successful if it's successfully logged in. If we have an error, we have the error message with login failed. I think it's going to work on our first attempt. Let's see if it works or not. So going back to our login page, it says we have a few errors. Okay, the one thing we didn't import was environment. So let's also add that import. And now we should be good to go. Let's check it out. So if I enter p@b.com and I want to enter an incorrect password and see if it works or not. So let's enter an incorrect one and it says login failed, invalid password. This is perfect. Let's also check if on a correct password, if it works or not. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is the password. And there you go, login successful, which is great. Everything works. We have completed the login and sign up. Let's also check one other feature before we call the end to this video, which is if we go to our database and see the users added, we see that p@b.com is added. Now, if we want to disable this account for any reason, let's say the administrator want to disable this account or the user himself or herself requested the account to be disabled, we should stop the login. And Firebase API authentication is so good that it automatically gives us a good error message and says this account has been disabled. So now if you click on login, it says login failed because user is disabled. And even over here, we can check that out. Error 400, user is disabled, invalid ID. So it's just perfect. We have authentication working without even worrying about the backend. We have our authentication system working flawlessly. And I hope you like this as well, because I find this API service awesome. I use it in almost all my projects. Obviously, this is just a YouTube project, so I'm not really using real API keys here, but I want to, in the end, once this website is fully done, I want to publish this. I want everyone to use this where you can track your crypto prices, etc., etc. But on my way, I want to teach everyone how to create an Angular application with a proper backend, which is using Firebase. And I want to do it live so that I make mistakes in front of you and we all can learn together, in which case I think we have learned sign up and log in today. In the next class, or in the next video, I should say, I'm also teaching in Concordia. So I have a habit of saying class whenever I'm on camera, but it's not a class, it's a YouTube video, obviously. But what I want to say is that today we have just learned authentication, right? We also should learn authorization because yes, we are now authenticated, etc., etc. But authorization is different than authentication. Authorization means that Pranav, which is me, can only access Pranav's information. right? So I should not be able to log in and access, let's say, Jack's orders or Jack's contacts. That is a failure of authorization. So also, if I'm not allowed to delete an email, I should not be allowed to delete it, right? So those things would come in authorization, and we can cover all of that in the next video, which I'm really excited about. Once we do that, then I want to teach or learn with everyone on how to log in with Facebook, how to log in with Google, how to log in with GitHub. So all the features that comes for an authentication purpose, which is OAuth or login with the without a password, let's say sending in a link to the email. What happens when the user forgets his or her password? So sending a forget password email. So all of those features, which are present in almost every application, but can be confusing to new developers like you and me. So we want to learn all of that, and we learn all of that live. So if you want to learn that with us, hit the subscribe button, follow this Angular playlist and Firebase playlist, and I'm really excited to see you in the future videos. Thank you very much. I hope you learned something, and see you next time.